Welcome back, everybody, to the Superman State of the Union address, Part 3.
The final State of the Union. Justin Patton, you could hear me cough. My allergies are terrible. I was coughing. What's up, Terrace? Well, folks, welcome to the finale. Lego. Yeah, this is the finale. We knew it. We knew it was going to be long.
A long thing.
Like, as soon as we came out of this movie, we're like, we're going to be needing about 6 hours to break this thing down effectively.
And still might not be enough time. But we're going to do what we can, folks, okay? We're going to do what we can. Let me say welcome to everybody while Andy does whatever he's doing. Got Joe Kerr. Start off strong, Katie. Start off strong. Let me be able to read. Joe Kerr says, I had someone tell me that Superman killing Ultraman is fine and that people were never upset about Superman killing Zod. The levels of gaslighting and hypocrisy are insane.
100%. And we're going to talk about that. And again, people say, like, how have you been talking about Superman so long? The film's not that great. It's not that deep. How are you talking about it? Because while that's all true, what we're seeing is phenomenal. Like, what's going on around it. And I think we talked about this the Monday before it came out, that we could not wait for just the levels of cope, the anger, the vitriol that we knew was going to, the revisionism, and it's all coming to light. This is a crazy moment.
Dude, 99. James Gunn is quoted in an interview saying that Superman only kills if it's the last resort.
Yeah.
He might not want to, but he'll do it if he must.
Yeah. So we knew as soon as we watched the film, before we watched the film, but we knew that people are going to be dishonest. We've been shocked at just how dishonest people are. And so, Joker, I totally get it. We're going to talk about, we have a whole section today. We're going to talk about, finally kind of do just a breakdown, because by now everybody's had a chance to see it who's going to see it. So we'll give a full plot points, spoilers breakdown, talk about, ranking this film against, other DCEU projects, where it kind of stands. But we're also going to talk a lot about what's going on, because I'm sure a lot of you have, even people who don't care about Superman a lot. I think that Superman has crept into the public consciousness because it has become this other thing. There are people who do not like Superman who are using it because it's a way to get jabs in at, it's like this ancillary thing. It's this, I know some people like interpretations of Superman that I don't like, and I don't want to be seen just attacking them outright. So I'll attack them through the things they like and then make that a statement about the quality of them as people. And that's just, we knew that was going to be a thing. I think people were very naive pretending that it wasn't there going into this Superman film. We talked about it for over a year. It is out now, though. It's in full display. It is unhinged. It is the best and worst of the internet, because you have people giving the most ridiculous takes, gaslighting, revisionism, just outright lies. And you have people calling them on it, which is exactly what the internet should do. It should self-police. And so that's a big part of this, is like, dude, we should be self-policing. Yes. You're seeing who has no integrity. You're seeing who has no actual passion about just discussing film, because this isn't just a film to them. This is this other thing that to some people must succeed, because it's another building block of a broader narrative that they're trying to build. And we're going to talk about that too. Let's say hi to everybody else.
I love how I only got through saying hi to one person that kicked off that.
Well, and again, that's what we've been saying. Like, we save y'all's comments, because sometimes the comments spark an entire conversation that we haven't even prepared, or one that we've loosely prepared. So again, thank you guys so much for commenting. You guys always have great insights.
What's up, Sergeant Geratina? Got Brown Destroyer. We got Justin Patton in the chat. I'm gonna apologize now in advance. I cannot read everyone's comments again. We got so behind yesterday. We'll never make it through the stuff you guys want us to go over today if I read everyone's comment. Yeah. So I appreciate you guys being here. I'm just calling y'all out to say hello. Got Daniel Laris in the chat. Ron E. Welcome. Obviously, Terrace. What's up?
Mod in chief.
Vote's protagonist. What's up?
One of our beautiful mods. We have the best mods.
What's up, Nestor?
What's up, Nestor?
Caleb Drew. What's up? TJ. Thank you for being a member for 7 months. Thank you so much. Says, let the spinning begin. Man of Steel still wins.
Yeah.
Which we might get into today.
No, I have it. We're going to talk about it, because
I don't know if we'll have time.
We will make time, because I didn't intend to talk about that. But dude, again, when you wake up and you're seeing people post things that
are
that
lies,
they know, it's not just a lie. you know that they know it's a lie. But because people have built their brand recently on a certain spin going into Superman, it's very hard to let like yourself look like an idiot, isn't it? And so you're seeing people's egos prevent them from saying, hey, this number is less than this number. What if we just change the number? I'll do that. I'll do that instead. Everybody will be fine with that, you know?
What's up, Giant Robo? Welcome, welcome. Sensory overload of Adam and Man of Steel is still superior. Welcome, welcome. Yes, numbers are in. We'll get it.
Lilo and Stitch actually hit 1 billion. Superman numbers are underwhelming to say the least. I think Avengers Doomsday is the only one that will actually make money at this point. 100%. I initially said I thought Lilo and Stitch was the only film that would make 1 billion for sure this year. And it drags so much that I was getting worried. Glad it did. You know, it's nice that it's important to see that films still can hit 1 billion so that later this year, when certain films don't make 1 billion, it's not used as an excuse of, well, you know, nothing can hit 1 billion anymore.
Yep. Elijah City, welcome. And no, I love this. Ronnie, he said, my favorite is Ultraman may still be alive.
Yeah.
Of the Cope right now. Yeah. Yes. Because that is out there as well.
Their channel's out right now. Like, as we are on this stream live, addressing that. We're going to talk about that phenomenon too, by the way. When you see reviews that aren't reviews, they're actually propaganda addressing concerns that people have heard on the internet. So what happened this weekend was a lot of people saw the film or didn't see the film, but waited to see which way the wind was going to blow on this. Decided, does that fit into the narrative I'm trying to contribute to? And so a lot of reviews are literally just going through all the valid criticism of it, saying, but it's not that bad. But it's not that bad. Yes,
they were curated around the discourse.
Yeah.
Like their review was clearly curated around all the problems people were having so that they could create.
So they can explain why they're going to say it was good.
Yeah. Oh my God. Welcome, Seasoned Mind. We got the almighty Uaxis. What's up? It says, hey guys, why are major publications lying about this being the highest grossing Superman opening weekend ever?
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. It's actually quite obvious when you look at what's been going on. It's actually quite obvious, and we're gonna break it down. Great question.
What's up, nerd champs? We thought the film was fun, not perfect. Fans will pull apart every detail. We'll probably not enjoy it.
Okay, yeah.
But fans of anime comic book series just will probably enjoy it.
I have no problem with that opinion, Nerd Champs. Glad to have you. But Nerd Champs, I know you hate the Snyder cut, right? You guys hate Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. Fans always pull stuff apart. So this is one. I'm not saying that they're saying it's unnatural or not par for the course, but what is unnatural is the media protecting it. And we're going to talk about that because if all things are equal, fans are absolutely entitled to pick apart things they don't like. I have no problem with people saying they had fun. But if we are going to go based on objective storytelling, like the quality of the writing, the quality of the production, huge problems. By the way, the fucked up foot scene made it into it. So don't tell me there was great attention to detail to something that they knew was a problem. So they didn't care.
Well, it was too late and they could fucking fix it. But that means it slipped through at the beginning that someone wasn't paying attention.
Yeah. Not a lot of attention to detail.
Yep. What's up, Emperor Goodwin? Welcome. Got Biku movies.
And by the way, glad to have all opinions because it won't rattle us. Like we don't, but I think a lot of people are mistaking us calling out the hypocrisy. I love every Superman actor that's come out. There's something to like in all of them. But we're also going to talk about that because there's a nasty little trend going on with comparisons right now. And it's incredibly unhinged with people now just pulling the curtain back and saying, I've always thought that Christopher Reeve was shit. And then,
what?
No, it's 100% all over the internet. People saying, this is Superman better than Christopher Reeve. And by the way, if you know stuff about how people implant things in the media, this was planted months ago. It was already starting with all the comments of, creating this idea of like, oh, David Gordon's so good, I'm already willing to put him as my second favorite Superman just from the trailers. And so this was, if you pay attention, it was so obvious that this was going to be one of the narratives that they were going to push.
Tregos, welcome. And yes, Terry, Andy, bending the fabric of space and time here for life, folks. Andy's on one today. I'm just going to let you guys know now.
What did I do wrong?
No, it's not.
What the fuck did I do wrong?
No, I'm prefacing. I would like everyone to just be aware. Careful, just if you want to argue, we welcome all arguments, but I'm letting you know now Andy's on one.
I'm probably not going to be as magnanimous as I usually try to be.
So yeah.
My tolerance for bullshit is at an all-time low. And so if you make arguments that don't hold logical sense, I'm going to point it out today.
So yeah,
A lot
we're
of
not
times I just-
attacking you. We're attacking the premise of your argument.
Yeah.
I'll say that now, and that's my disclaimer. So, voice protagonist. Yes, please remember to hit the like button, folks, if you haven't already, and obviously subscribe to our channel if you haven't. But yeah, Mad Max, welcome. We got Kevin 86. Tish, what's up? Welcome.
Yep.
I think that's
Go
everyone.
to start some of these comments up, guys. And Daniel Larson had a great point up there. Yeah, it's
Where?
right down there. Don't listen.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
I might have skipped some of your comments if you
Actually,
need.
I do want to, because
Yeah.
we've
Just-
already talked about this, so
yeah.
I do want to pull this up right now. It's also funny that the comic book accurate movie completely changes who Ultraman is. Yeah, dude, we've said this for a long time. James Gunn's not comic accurate. That was something that they very shrewdly started planting a while ago. And it was, again, something that you could tell was going to be a major marketing push, because early on, like, people who are fans of Guardians of the Galaxy and Peacemaker were like, no, he's not. Fundamentally different characters. He completely changed it. And then those people quickly changed to, well, what he did was actually better. And I'm like, okay, then he should be a comic writer. He should write his own run, and then he can just cite his own comic run. You can't do that. You can't sit there and lie and say, oh, it's comic accurate, then try to be the guy saying, oh, well, sometimes the adaptations are better. Like, if you build your bread and butter on being the guy who your only offering is to hold up a comic panel and say, oh, it's not this, so it must be bad, then when you get caught with someone else saying, hey, well, it's also not this, so it must be bad, the only thing you're allowed to say is, I concur. I'm sorry, like, and that's why I don't like it, because then we're not talking film, we're not talking the interest of did someone do well or not. We're
it's
just
also an adaptation.
we're just children
Yeah.
holding up those little puzzle books. Is like, which of these, what's the 5 differences in this picture? And again, if that's what you want film to be, there's plenty of space on YouTube and on the internet for that, but I don't think it's especially compelling. I think it actually makes us all look quite stupid.
Nestor said, did you guys like Superman?
We will probably get into that more when we do our comparisons, because a film like this is very hard to it's mid. It's a mid film.
Yeah.
And when I say that, some people are going to say, oh, that means you hate it. Some people are going to say that it's serviceable. It's on the low end of mid, by the way.
Do we hate it? No.
No, because I went in with no expectations.
Yeah.
But it's James Gunn's worst film, like by
Easily.
a lot. It's his worst superhero film by a lot. Falls well behind all 3 Guardians, and the last 2 Guardian films were incredibly flawed, and had begun relying far too heavily on James Gunn's proclivities and tropes. James Gunn has become a parody of himself, who now seems to be somewhat vaguely aware of it and thinks that it's charming to poke fun at himself in an IP that people actually cared about.
Exactly. And dude, this is point. Yeah. What's up, Tony? Tony said you can't call it comic accurate when Crypto isn't even in the film. It's Gunn's ugly self-insert dog.
Yeah, look, we spent a year having that very conversation, and again, we just speak our minds, right? Doesn't mean we're always right, but I've never said something because I want it to be true without prefacing it's like, hey, I want this to be true, but I would never purposely mislead or dismiss something valid, even in things I like. If you guys have watched me talk about things I like, dude, I love Dune. I tore apart parts of Denis Villeneuve's Dune. I even said, like, it's not that great of a Dune adaptation. It's a good film. I can separate those 2 things, but this, because I liked it, it's amazing, has permeated so deeply into people's minds that like 1 to 10 scores don't even matter anymore. Like, that's what we said when we were reviewing Kill Bill yesterday. There's no point in giving this a 1 to 10 score when people, if you, let's say you say Kill Bill is a 9, dude, there are people giving the Superman a 9. Okay, that's unhinged.
But since Tony's here, we can jump right in, because we felt so it's not going to be a direct like, how do you want to say, like, because we'll rank the films later on like a different stream once we come up with like a rating system, but we'll just say, is it better or worse than each film from the DCEU?
And this is our preference, but
Yes.
I will dude, I think you can actually look at these from filmmaking technique and get quite a good barometer. It's quite a good barometer.
Yeah.
Caleb Drew, you can compare this new guy to Christopher Reeve.
But did we really need a gangly, nerdy beta Superman to prop up male insecurities? Is that the case? I'm just asking.
I've always been one who I don't think I never liked that Henry Cavill and Brandon Routh were compared to Christopher Reeve. I thought that, like many things, I don't like it. If you do it like what is my favorite, totally fine. But when it turned, this guy's destroyed Superman, that's where I don't like it. Because, dude, growing up with things like, one, there's different comic runs, there's different iterations, but also, look, James Bond. There's been many, many different James Bonds. You're going to like some more than others. Some are just going to be your preference. But people mistook preference for opinion, and that's two different things. If you understand stuff, that's actually two different things. And absolutely mistook opinion for fact. And that led to, I like, therefore it is. And if you understand how stupid that is, you'll realize how frustrating it is talking to people who essentially, when you bat down any actual points, because, you know, that's what a discussion is, like the exchanging of ideas, they're left with, well, I liked it. You know, why? I don't know why you can't just let people like what they like. It's like, okay, then just say that. Say that you have no backing for why you like things. It's just a gut feel with you. And that's totally cool. But I don't think people like what that makes them sound like.
Because it seems ridiculous. What's up, Joshua Wax and the lovely Sherry? Welcome, welcome. Saw y'all slide in, as well as Jameson. So yeah. Also, yeah, thank you, Chairs. Hit the like button, people, if you haven't already. We'd appreciate it. But what, bro? I'm not. What comic has Jimmy Olsen being catcalled by prostitutes? None.
It was deeply vital to the story. That's what they'll tell you.
Oh,
get that one.
Yeah. Bro, just turn off your brain. Try turning on yours.
That's one of my favorite copes in For Good One. When all else fails, when these people come in, they're so proud of their arguments. And when they come in and you're like, well, that's not true. That's not true. I can demonstrate that's false. And then you say, like, what's your next point? And again, just like this, it's not anger. It's just some people can't turn off the part of our brains that says, that's not true.
Well, then
like, are you building your entire opinion on something that's not true? And that's when they revert to, well, I mean, if you're thinking about it too deeply, it's like, no. See, you came in here thinking you could win an argument, and then now you look fucking stupid. And now you're relying on, well, dude, it's just really mean. Like, I don't know. And that's what you're seeing as well, dude. So many people are like, I think the discourse around this is a little heated.
And
I think it's a little too much. I think we need to simmer down. It's like, where have you been for the past decade that it was open season on people that liked Man of Steel? Again, I have no problem, dude. I have no problem partaking in an open season. But a lot of people, because it was easy to hit on something that it was just sanctioned. You were just allowed to hate on it.
But no, even more so than that the amount of reviews I've read where people will talk about how the film was fun, it's enjoyable, and that people are being way too critical. And then when you get to the bottom of it, they're like, it's an easy movie to go into and turn your brain off.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
Once you said turn your brain off, you're completely invalidated your entire argument.
Except, but I said this. I said it holds the same amount of mental effort as, or requires mentally about the same amount of effort as Minecraft. Are there a lot of Easter eggs in Minecraft? Yeah. Is your experience diminished if you don't get them? Fuck no, because nothing really matters in that film. It doesn't matter. It's just plot point to plot point at TikTok speed. But people get upset with that because so many people who hated Minecraft now have, and a lot of people hated Minecraft without seeing Minecraft. See, we actually watched Minecraft. We actually went to theaters and watched Minecraft. But a lot of people who hated or built their narrative around Minecraft's everything that's wrong with cinema, it's just the dumbing down of movies, can't accept that, well, the exact same thing happened with the Superman film. It's a very dumb film. And again, if I just made the whole point with Jurassic World, dude, Jurassic World's not trying to be Jurassic Park anymore. They want to be closer to just Godzilla and kaiju films. They just want to be dumb fun. Okay, at least you know what you're getting. If someone says they like Jurassic Park, I never hear them say it's a smart film, which is why I don't fight with them about it. Because it's like, yeah, can you go eat some popcorn and have fun watching some monsters on screen? 100%. And that's the experience of Jurassic World. If somebody came in and says, see, I actually think that this one does a really good job of dissecting, then I'd be like, come on now. Not even in its own franchise can you make that argument.
Yeah. So do you want to start with the...
Yeah, so let's start with our play-by-play breakdown of this Superman film, because I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. And as we do this, we're going to start some comments because I'm sure a lot of people will have thoughts. What's up, Boba?
Boba? I'm so sorry. Boba said YouTube, yet again, not notifying me you're on.
Yeah.
I'm happy you're here, though. At least you noticed what time it was. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, so do you want to do better or worse quickly first, or no? And you want to
No,
do
let's just do the
breakdown?
plot. Let's do the breakdown because
Okay.
a lot of people won't understand.
Okay. Well,
Because some people haven't seen it, and so they don't care if they see it or not.
yeah, I believe everybody here at this point, either if you've seen it, you've seen it. If you don't care if we ruin it for you.
But I think understanding the plot, what happens in this film, like, look, just as I explain what happens in this film, you're going to get a feeling for why this film's such a mess.
Well, when we were trying to remember what happened, it was insane because
So
there's so
of the
much
film is so
in such a short amount of time,
It's
but
just-
so quickly.
well. It's also the lack of impact it has. Andy is media literate. Can you make us
So
understand?
he can make us understand.
Oh, yeah. That's the funny thing is I hate people who pull the whole media literacy thing. I think it's something that a lot of people use to try and just degrade other people. But this film has highlighted, no, there's an actual problem with people not understanding what they're seeing on screen and just bringing in their own thing. So, like, again, as I say this, I've noticed that in the past 2 days we've done this. You guys are great. People who like the film are open-minded to the problems. People who don't like the film are open-minded to discussion about what worked in it. And to be honest, there's not a whole lot that works in this. So I'm not going to do that weird thing where I try and say one nice thing, one bad thing, because there's so many more bad things about this.
We're
just
not
as a
doing
film,
that anyway.
Then like we shouldn't need to do that, by the way.
Yeah.
And again, nobody was doing that for Jurassic World or any other film this year.
Before we start this, though, what's up, Zax?
Thank you.
And also, Tony, I promise we'll do it after because I feel like I got your hopes up because he was waiting for us to do the better or worse than the DC.
We were actually waiting to see you before we do it.
Yes. But we're gonna do this first and then we'll do that.
So the film starts with an opening crawl to fill you in with where this world is in terms of how Superman fits in it and like what part metahumans play in just day-to-day life. So they say that metahumans have been here for 300 years, 30 years ago. So they do this cute little thing where it's
fucking threes.
years, decades, like months,
Hours,
all the way
months.
down to minutes. Yeah.
I lost track.
But
They're all
300 years
threes.
ago, metahumans arrived on Earth. 30 years ago, Superman was born. Like it says 3 years ago, he burst onto the set as the strongest metahuman. Did they do 3 months?
I don't know.
3 months ago,
Or-
he started dating Lois Lane.
Yes. 30 minutes ago, he
And then
Started a fight.
And then 3 minutes ago, he
Lost.
lost his first battle of all time. Okay.
as you can see, already very convoluted. All over
It's
the
not.
place.
That's actually the most succinct the film
my
is
God.
the entire time. It's trying to be cute and it's trying to not do an origin story. And I'm going to get into why they don't want to do an origin story, especially because we went and watched after this film every film with one of the other Supermen. So we watched Donner's, 1978 Superman. We watched Brandon Routh's Superman, and we've seen Man of Steel, so we didn't do that one. But yeah. So as that
Let me
opening
clarify.
crawl,
We've seen Man of Steel recently, so
yeah,
we didn't
watched it
have
on
to
ES
watch. Yeah.
channel, so we didn't rewatch Man of Steel. So yeah, they dump that on you. Superman literally craters into the earth, and it picks up with the scene of Krypto dragging Superman to the Fortress of Solitude,
Which you
because-
guys have probably already seen.
and you guys have all seen that. So you have all seen up until they take him to heal. We meet the robots, like that is what it is. While he's recuperating, we get the scene where you first see Bradley Cooper is going to be Jor-El. So Jor-El is just reciting this message. It's not in English. It's being translated by the robots for Superman. I don't know why, because he already knows the message because he's
Also
speaking
saying
it. But again, it's for the audience because that's what we do. And they say he likes to hear his parents speak. It soothes him. And so it's this nice little moment of him recuperating from his injuries after being put under the sun magnifying glass to the sound of his parents talking.
Now, all of this is not bad.
No, it is what it is. Like,
It's just
I've
kind
no-
of boring.
I don't-
Everyone's already seen it.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
He goes back out to fight the Hammer Baravia. He's not
Fully
fully
healed.
healed. Crypto's torn up the entire Fortress of Solitude. That's where you get the "what the hey dude" moment.
Got to get back to the fray.
Says, "I gotta get back to the fray." Flies off. Immediately gets knocked down into the ground again. Gets re-beat down by the Hammer Baravia. Gets smashed into the ground. That's when you see the hot dog vendor pick him up, and there's this very heavy-handed bit about Superman. I don't know if you remember me, but I gave you food that one time, and he just gets talking and he's like, you've helped us so much. Now is our chance to help you. It is odd. It feels like something from a bad anime. The writing's rough. And there will be people trying to say, well, it's because it's supposed to be comic booky. Again, we're supposed to adapt comics, because if we're just taking pages and putting them on screen, then it didn't do that as well as if they just taken and put on screen. Then you have from there straight to there's no more fighting with Hammer Bravia. He just lost. Hammer Bravia gives a speech to the people of Metropolis before going through a portal, and then showing up in Lex's penthouse.
So you see the pocket universe. It gives you the glimpses of the pocket universe, and then he goes into Lex's fortress or whatever, where he's calling out all the fight moves and all the bullshit. And so you get to see Lex Luthor and his girlfriend.
Yeah. Then
it goes straight to it's
Superman walking into the Daily Planet.
Clark Kent
walking into the Daily Planet. You've seen this. It's where he looks all hot and bothered. He goes in, and that's where you get the little exchange about Hammer Bravia beating the shit out of Superman, where Superman's like, I don't know if he beat the shit out of me, kind of stuff. Very, very cutesy, haha, Clark Kent, Superman. Again, no problem really with that. Except just that's the only time we see him as Clark Kent in the entire film. That's pretty much it.
No, yeah, I
think that might literally be it, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes. And so from that scene, you guys were introduced to Lois Lane,
Jimmy Olsen, and just all the ensemble cast of the Daily Planet that will later on just be present. They're just there so that they can say, look at all these comic book characters we put on screen.
Well, and you get to see,
it's just that's the only reason they're there, is that way it can hide behind there's a lot of characters. Again, no problem with that. I don't mind that. It's fine. Lex then is talking to the government, conspiring to try and get them to allow him to arrest Superman. They're like, why would we arrest Superman? He's very popular. He's done nothing but good. Lex doesn't like him. He lets slip that, we could get him with kryptonite, but they're like, no, there's no more kryptonite left on the planet. So that sets up why we need Metamorpho later in the film. From there, we are taken to a scene in the apartment scene between Lois Lane and Superman, where they're, having fun, joking about how they've got this little playful exchange about, how does Clark keep getting all these scoops from Superman, which again is kind of weird because, Lois Lane gets scoops from Superman, but doesn't really matter.
In this film, she doesn't. She doesn't get interviews with Superman.
So
Superman just gives interviews to himself.
He's more like Spider-Man and Peter Parker in that regard.
Then he was like, well, Superman will give you an interview. And it's supposed to be this cute scene.
She brings up the problem with the journalistic integrity, which is fine. Yeah, that's a definite discussion. It's probably the closest this film comes to even touching on being clever or being intelligent is when it glancing blow talks about morality in journalism.
But that's where you get the scene that everyone's already seen, where they have the interview and they're going back and forth. But at this point, you should have known that Superman's been on the scene for three years. He's supposed to be a journalist. He's on the front page, by the way, of the Daily Planet. So he shouldn't be new to doing interviews.
But he's writing his own articles, guys.
Yeah.
Take that as you will. They had their debate. It starts with questions just about, him intervening in this recent war between Baravia and I think it's with Jahanpur.
Yeah.
He's very proud of himself. He's like, yeah, no, I did. She immediately starts bringing up the stuff of politically. Did you ask the president? What did you do? Did you take a private meeting with the president of Baravia? She's asking journalistic questions, which is totally fair. He immediately starts to get defensive when he realizes that he's trying to give cute answers. Like, yeah, I took him out into the desert, put him against a cactus, and told him if he ever touches this country again, he'll have to answer to me. And so she's immediately like, oh, you mean torture? And he immediately starts backpedaling with like, oh, well, the thorns weren't that big. The spikes on the cactus weren't that big. He actually looks very naive. To say naive, though, isn't really selling it. He's not intelligent and naive in his worldview, like someone who understands the consequence of his actions, but wants the world to be something it isn't. He's doing things that a little kid would. And it kind of reads like a surrogate for how a lot of people in the media feel about politics right now.
What's up, Nia?
What's up, Nia? How you doing? We're talking about the plot. Hope this doesn't spoil anything for you.
He should.
Good
I
sir.
thought he saw it today.
Have you seen the film yet, Nia?
It's over there.
You have it up already?
Yeah.
That's not very helpful.
Just pull it down.
Thank you so much for the super sticker. It's a flying pear. Thank you so much, Nia.
Thank you,
We,
Nia.
we appreciate it.
And yeah, he's a dum dum. Like they make Clark Kent, Superman, whatever, both times. Regardless of which character he's supposed to be impersonating, whether he's Superman or he's Clark Kent, he seems like a fucking idiot throughout the entire movie.
What'd you think of it?
We're gonna see him literally.
Yeah, I actually don't think I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
Great to see you again, friend. Can't wait.
But at no point does it seem like I would have been much happier if they had kept it to where when he was Clark Kent, that's when he said things like, let's get back to the fray, or golly gee, what the hey. And then when he's Superman,
But those are opinions. Let's just break down the plot point.
Fine.
Because this, I don't have an especially, I don't really have a big problem with this because what happens later is where it really just goes off the rails. But yeah, he doesn't like the line of questioning. She's actually asking him journalistic questions. He's so used to being adored that he thinks he can just say whatever. He talks about himself in the third person. She immediately calls on it.
Yeah, when he's like Superman doesn't take selfies.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
But we do know that the Superman is very aware of his public, persona.
His public image, he doesn't like the hashtag super shit or
she brings up the hashtag super shit. He flashes out, and that's where you see him get so annoyed. He goes, that one bothers me, and he's like spurging out. It's not a good look. I know a lot of people say, oh, well, people get hurt by hashtags. This is actually the one, and I hate doing this because I don't like to grade things based on how they could be versus how they are. But this is the one moment I very much thought it was a huge mistake, because every other Superman film, we've seen some version of him as a kid have to learn to control his temper. Even the Christopher Reeve one, he gets bullied by the jocks on the football field, and you see him, he's angry. He's capable of emotion. He's angry, but he works that stuff out as he grows up and matures. This is a Superman who's been Superman longer than Christopher Reeve's been Superman, longer than Henry Cavill's been Superman. And 3 years in, he's still having teenage emotions. I don't think it's a good look. I think it would have been better to have a flashback of him as a teenager, growing up around cell phones, somebody like noticing, hey, Clark's kind of weird, and hitting him with something, and have the Kents show that, hey, you can't let these things get to you. You're made for bigger things.
Yeah, you're much bigger than this. Who cares about these?
And then if you want to talk about the hashtag shoot for shit now, maybe just show him kind of roll his eyes, or have give David Cornswet a chance to actually act, like not by stating his emotions, which has become such a problem in Hollywood. It's like loud noises. I'm angry. That hurt my feelings. And people are like, oh my God, the depths of his acting know no bounds. Dude, there's no subtlety. There's no nuance. He doesn't have to act because he just tells you how he feels. And people mistake him getting angry and flashing out for like this level of like acting prowess that I don't
or
see.
Just depth, which is not.
But basically, they end up fighting. He storms out. She alludes that she knew this was going to work. And from there, you see that's going to be the relationship between the two of them. He's in love with her. Can't get his emotions in check. He's trying to balance being Superman with, dating her. She's very much a hard-nosed journalist, and she thinks they're too different. That they're just she's just this
and she says, really hard person, and
but she also says the most cliched, "I'm not good at relationships," which is again just.
All right.
Fine. I have no problem with that. That's what the film's setting up. From there, we go straight into the kaiju scene because they release the kaiju from the back of the van. And again, it's another gunism. They think it's really cute because you get this itty bitty kaiju, looks like a little Trolls doll, runs around going, and it fucking burns like a crate. And they say it's very small, but it'll get bigger. Next day, it's fucking 300 feet tall. It's wrecking the city. Superman's fighting it. He's trying to give it soft blows because he doesn't want to kill it. And he's
trying to figure out a way to get it out of the city so that they can either contain it or test it or euthanize it in a better way.
Because he states it to Mr. Terrific.
Yes.
Mr. Terrific's like, we need to get rid of this thing, and Superman expresses that he doesn't want to kill it. So that's how we know, because these things are said. But this is where the film loses its stakes. It feels like in response to people dying in Man of Steel, the overcorrection is nobody can die for any reason in this film. And so you have scenes where the kaiju, which should be dangerous, isn't dangerous. By the way, this actually I lied. This happened earlier with the Hammer of Baravia, when Lex essentially says, "Oh, I wish there's more human casualties. You know, nothing's perfect." Hammer Baravia lasers through a office block with people standing next to the window, because people are stupid in this world. They just stand by windows as supervillains are standing outside lasering people. The only reason people don't die
Allegedly.
is because Hammer of Baravia. No, they don't, because every scene they're very careful to show you everybody get back up, dust themselves off, and be like, "Whew, that was a close one."
And they take the time to have Superman be like, "You guys good?"
No, but I cannot emphasize enough. This whole film is a series of shots where all tension, all stakes are cut, because every time there's a scene right after with somebody standing up, brushing themselves off, and going, "Whew, that was close." That's the film. It happens with Hammer Baravia. Everybody's fine. Not because they should be, but because he aims above their heads.
Yeah.
So
it's not anything Superman does.
He doesn't try and kill them. He's just not. The giant kaiju blows fire through it. It hits Superman. It goes. People are scorched, but they're fine. Later on in the fight, a guy is eating ice cream by a window. He is hit by tons of broken glass. But don't worry. He stands back up. He's got superficial cuts. And he's like, "Oh, it's fine." The whole film, yes, Superman saves people, but you kind of feel like in this universe, they'd be fine. It feels like the Looney Tunes, where somebody can have an anvil dropped on their head and it won't really freaking matter. And so it immediately loses impact, because this is a threat to public property more than it is to people's lives. And that's not helped by the fact that people are just chilling, walking around, staring at stuff.
No one seems scared at all. So you have the kaiju in the middle of the city. It's fucking massive now. Yet no one's screaming or running away or trying to get out of the city. Everyone's just watching. Everyone's just standing around.
And I do want to talk about the kaiju fight highlights a problem with trying to match comics without you. I love comics. I love comics where you can look at a scene like, wow, that looks like a comic panel, but you still have to make it make sense as a film, right? Otherwise, let's just have a film of still frames with people talking over it, okay? Yeah. Which used to be a form of storytelling. The scene that everybody loves, everybody loves it. Even people who doubt this film said, "Hey, the scene where Superman's saving the girl." You think that that's going to play out. That's it, by the way. You have seen the entirety of the scene of him saving the girl. There's nothing before it. It is literally her, an unattended girl, looking sad, walking, despondently, not paying attention, that Superman must save. And it's only there, in my opinion, because it does look like a frame from a comic.
It actually looks really cool.
And it looks great, but there's no substance there. It's just something that looks comic booky without any emotion, that someone says, "Hey, what if we just animate a scene that we can point to and say, hey, doesn't that look like the scene where Superman saves people?" And she's sad, so I can't help but think it's not from the comic run. I think it's, All-Star Superman, where he's talking to the girl who's like talking about jumping off the building. It feels like it's trying to feel like that. But no, the kaiju's defeated because Mr. Terrific says enough of this shit.
Well, when Superman explains what he was trying to do, and he's like, "Come on, let's get this thing," and he's like, "Well, can we try and get it somewhere else?" Or Mr. Terrific rolls his eyes at him. And I was like, "Oh wow, okay." So everybody thinks Superman is a fucking joke.
Everybody. And they let you know. He's not like every other Superman where he's a joke when he's Clark Kent, but the world looks up to him, which again dispels another myth that we're going to get into later of people didn't like that in Zack Snyder's Superman, the world isn't sure how they feel about Superman. It was like 50-50. Some people loved him, some people were afraid of him. In this one, people love him, but people also kind of just roll their eyes at him. And it's the people that we spend time with roll their eyes at him. But yeah, Mr. Terrific just goes inside of it and just blows up its small intestine or something. Or maybe I'm not a doctor. I don't know which one, but he just goes inside, and while Superman's looking at it through his X-ray vision, he just pops his internal organs and kills it. And Superman gives a kind of "I'm sad," which I actually don't mind. I don't mind him because Superman loves animals. If you watch, I remember from the anime series, he keeps a lot of animals he finds in a menagerie.
And he ends up actually catching the kaiju so it doesn't crush all the people that were retarded and stayed around while they were watching them fight the kaiju. So he stops them from getting crushed.
And he saves a lot of people. He saves squirrels. He saves everything, in this film. From the kaiju scene, we see that it was a distraction so that Lex Luthor can go with the engineer and break into the Fortress of Solitude. He gets in. It's like, how did he get in? It's because Hammer Baravia is Ultraman. The Hammer Baravia is a clone of Superman. So all the leaks were true. It's a clone of Superman. Again, for a comic accurate thing, which again, I don't mind adaptations. I really don't mind. But it's supposed to be from another dimension. And then later on, you're going to hear people say, oh, I think it's supposed to be Bizarro, which Bizarro is a clone, but Bizarro is also not Ultraman. So he manages to kind of just do whatever he wants and have people be like, wow, it's so comic booky. It's so comic accurate. But they get in there, they destroy the robots. And this is what they were hoping for. They were hoping that, again, a lot of people will just latch onto emotions. People were saying like, oh my gosh, number 12, we got to protect her at all costs. They all get hacked through. You don't care.
All the
Nothing
robots.
in this should make you care because there's no development.
You don't care about anybody.
So they tear through the robots before like kicking Crypto, tying up Crypto. They see the video of Jor-El. The engineer, the Jor-El message had been fragmented. While they're downloading the message, the engineer is able to decrypt the rest of it. And we go right back to the aftermath of the kaiju fight. And they have on the big screen Superman's a work like here to enslave us. And they're playing the new conversation of his parents.
It's the decrypted message. A decrypted message from his parents.
So because he knows the beginning of it, they're reading out the beginning. He doesn't understand why people are upset. And he says, what's wrong with that? Which again, that's one of the few scenes that I actually felt was actually kind of good.
That was great.
He felt like he was hung out to dry. But then they play the part. He goes, dude, they have Jor-El say, take many wives, rule over them. The people of Earth are dumb and, simple. His mother says, be merciless against anybody who will defy you.
Or get in your way.
Yeah.
To take a harem. To spread your seed. To continue the line of Krypton.
Yeah.
And at that point, I feel like everyone in the theater was like, what?
Yeah. Rightfully so. Superman is perturbed. And that's where you see the scene of him getting hit with the can or the cup. He goes into like the office and he has a confrontation with Guy Gardner and the rest of the Justice Gang where they say, is this true? And Superman says, I've only ever heard the first half of that. He gives almost no resistance to these parents who he loves so much that their voices alone were like ASMR soothing him, and then just defaults to, I guess my parents are shit. He gives one little bit of, I don't know if the rest is true, before Mr. Terrific, who in this film is established is a genius, who is an authority on technology, says, no, it's absolutely, he cuts him off. No, it's absolutely true because I know these
people that they said validated
these computer experts, they wouldn't say it's true if it wasn't true. There's going to be so much cope with people saying maybe they're wrong, but we will get into if they're wrong, then everything Superman does later makes him look like a piece of shit because he doesn't stand with his parents. He almost immediately denounces. And then the film just picks up with Superman now is wrestling with the fact that I thought I was Kryptonian, but now I know Kryptonians are bad. My parents were bad.
And it doesn't align with his philosophy and what he wants to do while on Earth.
Yeah. He says, how did they find this? Before, oh my gosh, somebody broke into the Fortress of Solitude. We just watched James Bond, The Quantum of Solace. So I keep mixing the two up. He goes back to the Fortress of Solitude.
Pause real quick.
Oh, sorry.
No, I just want to say thank you so much, Dragon Master Zero, for the $10 super sticker, as well as Zach for the 5 Hold My DualShock memberships. Super sticker. Bear with me, people.
It's another pair flying. Thank you so much. By the way, guys, I for the longest time thought that was an avocado. I don't know why. I just thought to me it looked like an avocado.
And Daniel Lair said, thank you so much for the 5 Hold My DualShock memberships. Okay, so just like the other two, we're gonna do clips and stuff at the end, so we just don't interrupt this because our clips are not short. But we greatly appreciate all of you guys' support.
And I see you guys pointing out, the people in this film are largely like NPCs, very valid. It really makes it hard to worry about them when they're NPCs and they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But Superman goes to the Fortress of Solitude, finds the now fucked up robots. Robot number 4 is attacking his own head with a screwdriver. He goes and sees that they've taken the message, they've taken Crypto, and from there they bust out. That's where you get the scene of him going to confront Lex. He just busts in the door. By the way, there's almost nothing between the many clips that you've seen of this film. It feels like filler between those transitions and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes
you
not even.
just
Sometimes
go
it's
straight
just
to next scenes.
Yeah, sometimes it's just the next scene.
So there's no fluidity. It's just very choppy. So he goes to Lex's office, throws the desk, and says, "Where's the dog? Where's the dog?" And then from there, Master or whatever.
Tessmacher.
Yeah, the girlfriend's filming him. He realizes she's filming him, so then he just leaves. And then you jump to the next scene, which is where he goes to meet up with Lois.
Yeah. And so this is when we see the scene of him with the boots and she's trying to comfort him. This part it could have been something, but again, there's no restraint. Superman is trying to discuss, basically, he's at his lowest. He's at his lowest with Lois. No, I'm joking. This is terrible. Strike that from the record. They're drinking hot chocolate and discussing how terrible his day is. And he's coming to terms with the reality of who he is now that he knows his Kryptonian parents are evil. She asks if he needs to help, by the way. And this is the thing. They address that there's a battle going on outside. She asks, shouldn't you be helping? He says, no, the Justice Gang has got it. This is a huge problem for me because we know the Justice Gang doesn't care about whether or not they take these things in living or dead. So it's an interdimensional imp. He's like, no, the Justice Gang has it. Justice Gang has it. Because they went out of their way to show how much he cares about all life, it's weird that now that he's in a bad mood, he's like not even dragging him out there to be like, I better go deal with it because if I don't, the Justice Gang are probably going to kill it if it's too much of it. And again, people will headcanon say it's like, no, maybe the interdimensional imp's not that big of a deal and they don't need to kill it. But it's what you see what's on screen. And so when you see him going from, caring so much to caring not at all, if you start to have to headcanon it, it becomes a problem. And because his quality of character is tied to his universal love for all living things, to see him not even address it
or
makes it seem like he's kind of false, like he's kind of fake.
And that his emotions are more important than everyone else.
I care about all living things except when people don't like me. And again, is it intentional? Is it written to be made to be like that? No, not at all. It's another thing that happens in Hollywood when people are not talented enough or not prescient enough to understand, or not present enough, should I say, in the writing room to say, how will this translate? How will this be perceived on screen? And when many people just say, no, it's great. When you have a bunch of yes men not saying, hey, do you think this will come across like Superman doesn't care about this interdimensional imp? The answer is yes. Some people at least will think that. And
this was the same for me, Rob. I was totally distracted by the alien fight in the window that I don't even know what Clark and Lois were talking about.
That was a real problem.
I don't either.
It was very hard to focus on it. And again, it felt like those TikTok videos where people are talking, but they have like the Minecraft scenes just running on loop behind them or over them while they talk, because they know that you need something happening on screen to suck people in.
So it completely undercuts the moment. Like, you're not invested in the conversation Lois and Clark are having really at all, because you're still constantly distracted by the scene that's going on behind them, because the alien, the imp thing is also very colorful. It's very distracting.
There's a lot of, like, I love, by the way, if you guys watch the channel, I am a sucker for neon pink and turquoise, bro. I mean, dude, look, why do you think we have the stupid pink stuff? Because I love it. I love neon pink and turquoise. It's so overused that it's just kind of a substitute for style at this point. It's not a stylistic choice. It's a stylistic demand or an imperative.
That's the thing. Yes, it looks pretty. It's extremely distracting. It takes away from the actual conversation you should be paying attention to, because it's supposed to be deep.
Yeah. So from there, they discuss what he should do. Superman decides to turn himself in. We're cut straight to head hitting the fucking pavement by Ultraman before him announcing, I've turned myself in, this is unnecessary, I turned myself in on my own free will. Again, does it feel like a panel of a comic? Sure, yeah, I've seen comics where someone's face is in the pavement and they have to say in a speech bubble that to let you know what's going on. But again, as Emperor Goin very wisely pointed out, film is separate from comics. When you adapt things, the goal is to find the happy medium. And that's why I think that this film fails as a film. And unless we just relegate this to look at this weird thing and give it an enormous amount of latitude because of that, it's going to struggle for people to think of it as a great film, because it's the best. If someone said this is the best I can imagine, trying to take what's written on panels of comics and putting them into a film, I might agree with that. But I think the lesson here would be like, we shouldn't do that. That's actually just not a good idea. There should be more art in this.
No, there should be more depth and substance.
Superman is taken to the pocket dimension by Ultraman and Lex, and locked up. Lois goes to the Justice Gang, and asks them to help find Superman, and that's when Guy Gardner just kind of blurts out that that he's Clark Kent. And she's like, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be letting him know, because if I didn't, I do now.
And she's like, why does he trust everybody? And
then he says, that's where you get that line of, he doesn't trust everybody. He trusts us because we're
from
the cloth. That's probably the closest this film got to a laugh. And it was a, there's like one or two guys went, huh. But again, we've seen this before. So even if it would have been funny, they blew their load in the lead up to this, because they knew that it wasn't going to, that they needed to tell people what this was going to be. Because if you had gone into it not after seeing all those clips and having your expectations come down, I think people would have been very disappointed. Back in the Daily Planet, they're trying to find out, where's Superman. Jimmy Olsen says he might have a lead. It's because Miss Tessmacher has been sending him provocative photos. He meets up with her. They have a whole scene where Jimmy Olsen walks through an alleyway, gets catcalled by some hookers. Very, very charming man. I actually like Jimmy Olsen because I like Skylar Gizmodo. He's Gideon from Righteous Gemstones. A lot of people doing that, by the way. A lot of people just being their most popular screen selves.
But he doesn't fit in the film.
It's fine. It doesn't fit nor not fit, because other than being a major point of moving the plot along, his character is what it is. There's a lot of it is what it is.
But he's not from the comic, by the way. Jimmy Olsen doesn't act like that.
In some comics he does. In some comics he does.
Right.
That's why I don't even want to get into the comics. I'm grading this based on it as a film.
So
it's a very silly scene.
She sends all the pictures.
In love with him. But then it gets weird again because James Gunn goes too long. And so you're like, okay, she loves Jimmy Olsen, wants to be a Jimmy Olsen. She's with Lex Luthor because she's afraid of him because he's putting these girls in pocket dimensions. She's an idiot, by the way, which is crazy because in previous adaptations, usually these characters get a little bit of agency. She lets slip that there's a pocket dimension, and she only gives the information to Jimmy because he lies and says that if she does, they'll be together forever.
And he'll go on a date with her. And hang out all weekend.
Whereas in like 78, Tessmacher does it because she loves her mom. Like she realizes she's first perturbed when Lex says no, billions will die. You can see it's getting effect. And then when she's like, but my mom lives in was it Hoboken or whatever? It's in New Jersey or whatever. She's like, my mom's there. And he goes, not anymore.
No, Miss Tessmacher is usually shown as having a conscience at a certain point. At some point, she starts realizing that, like, dude, he's extremely evil, that he has no problem killing billions of people. Yeah. And then she starts to have a conscience because she's like, she doesn't want that many people to die. Yeah. At no point does that happen in this film.
Even in Brandon Routh's Superman, Parker Posey's character, Kitty or whatever, has a turn of conscience. She can't let loose. She can't let Lex Luthor kill billions of people, so she throws the crystals out.
Yeah.
This character is just an idiot.
She's selfish.
Is selfish, and I don't think they realize this, but having Jimmy manipulate her, kind of, you're like, yeah, he has to do it, but it's also just, it's all so cynical.
So gross.
But then people say it's hopeful, but it's not, though. It is cynical. He's promising to go on a date with a girl he doesn't love, who's an idiot, who's aiding a war criminal. And he even says, like, why are you with him? He's understands she's in this horribly abusive relationship, and he does nothing because it doesn't matter to him until he needs something from her. Is it written? Are you supposed to look at that deep? No, but some people will actually look at it like, God, that's kind of fucked, right? It's stupid. And like people are saying, you got to turn your brain off. Don't ask yourself one question why. Otherwise, you'll end up in this spiral of,
I honestly think most people are being distracted by the fact that she's attractive. She's pretty.
But she's got fucked up toes, which is funny, right? She's the hot girl with weird toes. It's a foot thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there,
so Lois gets the help of Mr. Terrific. He's the only one who agrees to help her. Everyone else blows her off. So they then get that stupid joke with the garage door opening and how it's slow. Ha ha ha. It's not funny. And they take off in his ship and go to where they see that he portaled through to the pocket dimension.
You get a very cool fight scene with Mr. Terrific, which I think is actually undercut by the music. I think it would have been better if he had actually had a score to it. But again, couldn't help himself. But there will be people saying, but it makes sense because as they walk up, there's a radio playing it. And so it's just the radio continuing to play. Dude, but he wrote it that way because he wanted it. It's like, come on. But yeah, there's a needle drop for that. It's fine. It's whatever. Scene's very cool. Mr. Terrific has the most cool power that we see on screen. He's a pretty cool character.
The fight scene, shockingly, is the most entertaining one.
It's very interesting. It's very dynamic.
Fast paced, moves on.
Yeah. They go into the pocket dimension.
But at the same time that they're trying to get into the pocket dimension, Superman's trying to get himself out of the pocket dimension.
And he's being held captive by Metamorpho, who has a kryptonite hand. But he's only doing it because they have his sweet, sweet baby Joey. And baby Joey's being held hostage and will be killed by Lex Luthor's goons if Metamorpho doesn't help. And so they're torturing Superman, but that's not enough. So they go and they get the hot dog vendor from earlier, just an innocent person, and they have him at gunpoint. And this film knows what it is at this point. Lex plays Russian roulette with him. And like, long story short, he shoots him. He kills him. He executes him right in front of him. But the film wanted, I guess, to be edgy. They wanted to make you feel like there were real stakes. They wanted you to know Lex is evil. That's accomplished. But you also have this hot dog vendor prattling on about, don't tell them, Superman.
Yeah.
I don't have any family. Nobody will miss me. Like, it's not worth it. Don't tell him anything.
It's not a big deal if I don't live.
He literally says that. It's like on and on about like, let him kill me.
No one will forget.
I don't
remember
know
me.
If they thought it was gonna make it sound heroic, but it was so
sad. I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, so basically, it doesn't matter if you die, and Superman just shouldn't care about you because you don't have a family, and the audience shouldn't be upset that he died because he doesn't have a family.
By the way, Lex Luthor's like, oh, he shot him. Superman sheds a tear. I don't have a problem with that, by the way. Like, of all the times that characters are crying in this film, yeah, dude, I could understand like Superman being frustrated that he couldn't save the guy. Totally fine with that. Christopher Reeve cries, when he can't save Lois Lane. But then Lex Luthor says, oh, essentially makes a little quip. Like, I thought that would go longer because you got to have a joke. It says, I'm going to keep bringing people here until you talk. I'm going to keep killing people until you talk. Maybe I'll go get that reporter that you always give scoops to, Clark Kent. And you're like, right there, like, it would have been better if it was Lois Lane, because then you'd be like, oh, shit. But again, they never want you to think that Lois Lane can't fend for herself, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, after seeing that, Metamorpho has a change of heart
and has a
and
conscience.
Starts breaking down. So we don't get to see Superman wrestle with his limitations, because immediately Metamorpho's crying and be like, no, it wasn't supposed to go like this, One of the things I was looking forward to, and this was Metamorpho, because the actor that plays him plays NoHo Hank and Barry. I was so disappointed that he spoke in his regular accent, like his real accent, and not as NoHo Hank. I know it's stupid. I don't know why I thought he would talk as NoHo Hank, but I was so disappointed that he didn't talk like NoHo Hank. I thought that at least in a silly James Gunn film, it would be funny. Oh, when he spoke in his real voice, I was like,
yeah.
God, where's NoHo Hank?
So homie decides, you know what? Can you really save my son? Can you really get us all out of here? And Superman's like, yeah, I can. So then he takes away the kryptonite, and then he's like, why aren't you healing faster?
Yeah, why is your face still ugly?
Yeah.
It's because he's been burned by the kryptonite.
To
and
make
that's
a joke.
cool. Like in this, like the kryptonite kind of burns him. No problem with that. It looks like it's irradiating him. It doesn't just make him weaker.
So then he tries to make a sun.
He makes the sun, blast everybody with, the power of the sun. Again, another cool Spider-Man 2 reference, the power of the sun in my hand. Yeah. He makes the sun. Everybody should be blind, but I don't care about it. Everybody gets blasted.
He gets them out of there.
Insane about irradiation.
He holds baby Joey and whatnot.
He calls Crypto out. Crypto, fuck shit up, as Cryptos want to do in this film. Almost kills Baby Joey, but you get a cool scene where Superman's having to hold the Baby Joey prop above his head so he doesn't get crushed by Krypto. And this is where the problems kind of start with the film.
They start before this, by the way. This is
where it really gets weird. Superman, and this is the inadvertent problems of people not thinking and thinking they're more clever than they are,
or not listening to dialogue and what's going on.
So, because of Lex Luthor has sloppy tech, it's opening up little black holes, and there's a scene with a river of pixels. It looks kind of like Minecraft. A lot of people are comparing to Minecraft. It looks like Pixels, though, like that film with Adam Sandler.
And they're all beautifully colored.
River of just RGB lighting crystals being sucked into a black hole. That's fine. It's an interesting way to show it. It just kind of looks cheap, if I'm being honest, but it's fine. I don't care stylistically. What I do think is weird is Superman announces that's a black hole. If we get sucked into that, we will never escape and we will die. That's right. If you get sucked into the black holes, you will die, at least in Superman's mind. Black hole equals death. That's going to matter in a little bit. He can't get out. Metamorpho, as like a squid thing, tries to pull him out. They can't get out, and Superman uses his super breath to blow himself out like a balloon. That's fine. It's whatever. Cool. It's a silly way to get out, and it's silly.
And then they realize that Mr. Terrific and Lois are in there and that they have the portal open. So they fly up there and they get out.
Yeah, they fight off some of the goons and they get out. Well, what is up, Gooch? How you doing, brother? Saw you guys talking about Superman earlier.
And yes, I see, Tony, a lot of people making comparisons to Spy Kids. Because a lot of it's ridiculously looks like that.
They leave. Mr. Terrific tells Lois, take my Mr. Terrific ship to somewhere safe. It's both intuitive and easy to drive. Fine, I don't mind about that. Like, it's fine. Again, but she takes him to the Kents. This is the only time we see the Kents, by the way. The scenes of the Kents were wildly overblown. I lie. Somebody's gonna call me out on it. We saw them earlier talking to Superman on the phone. They are Hicks. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I know people like that." That's totally fine, but they chose to cast them in a way that I don't think particularly has a whole lot of dignity. It's cartoonish, and I've never
insulting.
Some people find it insulting. I don't find it insulting. I'm not from here.
I'm from here. I find it insulting.
But what I will tell you is I could barely understand what they were fucking saying. Jonathan Kent, Pa Kent, is a blubbering fool. He's all teary-eyed because he just gets so sad talking about Superman, talking about Clark because he loves him so much. That's fine,
Yeah.
But they sit down. They have the moment on the porch. Again, I cannot stress to you how vacuous, how empty this feels, because there's nothing on either side of really what you have seen in the trailers. That is it.
Well, and what connection are you supposed to make with these people when this is the first time you're actually seeing them interact?
Yeah. And he says to him this whole little story about going down the road and getting burritos. He's saying burritos. I could not. And I turned to my friend who's from the South, and he's just shaking his head like.
And I started fucking laughing because I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, they were hillbillies. It was it's like, you and your mom are hillbilly.
Like, bro, for real. And I don't understand why
Superman doesn't have a incredibly thick hillbilly accent.
Yes. Yeah. And it doesn't equate to them being able to raise Clark Kent. It just doesn't.
He gives Pa Kent gives a very odd platitude about what it means to raise kids, because Superman can't handle the fact that he thought he was from a good place, but he's from a bad place. And, he says, my parents. And he's saying it. And in a way I never felt in Man of Steel, because I know that I got torn apart in Man of Steel, when Superman says, I found my people. And people are like, oh, I'm out, dog. I'm out, because he's supposed to be human. He shouldn't be thinking that. In this, when he says my parents, I actually was like, dude, your dad's right there. Like, if I would have said my birth parents, my other parents, my Kryptonian parent. Like, it felt weird. And
but then when he was like, parents try and give their kids what they can so that they can make mistakes.
It would have been nice to see him just say dad a little more or something. You know what I'm saying? But it was weird. It's a very hollow scene. He says, explain what he says, the platitude.
No, he said we try and build our kids up so that because they're going to make mistakes for you to continuously fail.
We
Like,
don't tell them what they're gonna be. We give them the tools to make fools of themselves. That is what he actually says. I
Yeah,
actually wrote it down.
thank you, fools themselves. Which, by the way, no, parents don't do that.
And then he says, "Your bad parents do," but then he says, "Your actions define you," which is fine. I don't. But then they have this scene where they're both blubbering and then they hug each other. It so hollow, didn't land. In my opinion, I felt like it was just obligatory.
So then automatic next scene is what, the fight scene after that?
Yeah. He goes, where is it? Yeah, it goes so Lex Luthor is furious that they've lost Superman, and he starts increasing the power of the pocket dimensions, which causes black holes to start tearing apart Metropolis, while simultaneously escalating the war between Baravia and Jarhanpur.
And in between, you've seen little pieces where you see that Lex Luthor is a part of creating the war because he wants land.
Yeah.
So that's just dropped in
yeah.
there in between with
And
conversations.
That's his thing. Yeah, he's working with the president of Baravia to own half of the
Jarapur.
Jarapur, yeah. The Middle Eastern of the two countries. Baravia is Eastern European. Jaharpur is Middle Eastern in this. Interesting. So Superman fights the Hammer of Baravia again, but the engineer's also in on it this time. He's getting his ass kicked most of the time. This is where he gets kicked in the balls, mind you. And while he's incapable of getting to them, there's this scene, which you saw from the trailers, with the young
kids.
boy raising the flag, saying, Superman, Superman, Superman. Who the fuck shows up? Not Superman. It's Guy Gardner, who then says, you got someone better.
You got an upgrade kid.
You got an upgrade kid. And you're like, I at least thought that moment was going to be, but there will be people saying, oh, but it's because Superman's inspired and we can all be Superman, which is what they were trying to telegraph going into this.
Which is the most frustrating scene because
it could have been a rare moment of excellence in this film if Superman had, I mean, we're people who just say, I wanted Superman to heed the call of Superman are being called unreasonable in a Superman film. And yet people are saying, dude, it's not an ensemble film. It's not a Justice Gang film.
People are saying he can't be in two places at once.
Agreed.
What?
Agreed.
But he's we've seen him save people consistently. Like, so he couldn't just get over there and save them first. If you're making choices, like,
but again, there will be people who say,
and then on top of that,
make excuses for it.
No, you guys, where's supposed to be the stakes for the city? They clear the fucking city out in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, everybody's fine. By the way, this whole film is a series of action shots with somebody speaking over the news saying, thankfully, there were no casualties. Thankfully, everybody was evacuated from downtown Metropolis before the Kaiju wrecked through it. Thankfully, there was very few injuries and no casualties. It happens multiple times. And it reminds me of that Daniel Tosh stand-up bit where he's talking about, kids dying. And he's like, oh, but, the kid was fine because, you know me, I can't accept life. So just an overcourse correction of people being afraid of the collateral damage, not understanding if you're going out of your way. They just don't even want people to think that there are people at risk, which again, I think Brandon Routh Superman did a much better job. Superman will save all of them because that's what Brandon Routh Superman does.
Cuts it so close.
But he cuts it close, and the process of getting to them in time becomes the challenge, which is why I fundamentally disagree with the idea that you can't have a all-power Superman and have it be interesting. Yes, you can, because there's still things he can't control. By the way, Pa Kent does not die in this. He's fine.
Yeah. And yes, the sheer amount of exposition made it so you could literally know what was going on in the film from audio only. They tell you constantly.
Yeah. He is very friendly to people who are on their phones. So while so Hammer Baravia and the engineer are beating the fuck out of him, and they start strangling him with the nanites from the engineer. Goes into his lungs. He's suffocating. He flies up into the atmosphere, goes into the point where they freeze. Like they're in outer space. They all freeze. And then he does like a Charizard level seismic toss and brings them all the way back down to Earth.
Gain speed.
As this is happening, the engineer says, at this rate, I won't survive the impact. And Lex Luthor is essentially like,
No, he says detach. He tells her, let go.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, get off, let go. Because he doesn't want to lose his investment. He's like, if you're not going to
She
live.
smashes into the ground. The three of them smash into the ground. She should be dead, except the film has a henchman later on run up, scan her, and says she's still breathing. Because again, no, like we will be so upset if the engineer died. Then why say it? Like it's baffling, guys. It's baffling. It feels like it was written by two different people. One that wanted it to be at least one toe in realism, and one that says no, it has to be a bedtime story where there can be no risk of anything going wrong. But in the process, Ultraman loses his mask, and it is a long-haired Superman. It's David Cornsweet. It's David Cornsweet, not Henry Cavill. Yeah. Who'd have thunk it, you know?
Who'd have thunk it? So yeah, David
clearly,
Cornsweet, just lit with long hair, looking like a mouth breather.
And he is mentally challenged. It's a major point of the plot that he is so mentally challenged in the cloning process that Lex Luthor cloned him, and he's so stupid, so mentally challenged that he's essentially Blaster from Thunderdome, from Mad Max Thunderdome. And so you have a Master Blaster situation with Lex has to literally call out the punches and commands.
Thank you. A1, A1,
like A1. And so you get, it's like Real Steel with Lex Luthor like shadow boxing, screaming A1, D5, L1.
103.
As this is going on, nobody thinks like, hey, how is a human being, Lex Luthor, with human perception and speech and reflexes, calling out verbal commands that are faster than Superman can react with superhuman speed, superhuman hearing, and the ability and reflexes. But we just don't think that, because it's supposed to be a cool scene, you know.
But not that. It's not like he's like they're on the same level. Superman's getting his ass kicked, dude. Ass kicked.
Lex Luthor is so much smarter than Superman that with now this fleshy avatar thing, he's able to beat the shit. The very dumb man, the very dumb Superman is able to beat up smart Superman, even with the delay of. And by the way, he's been trained to know the commands.
Because brain beats brawn. That's just so they could throw that in there.
While this is going on, Hawk Girl in Baravia grabs Vasily Gurkas, the president of Baravia, flies her out the window, and he's like, you won't kill me, you're just like Superman. And she's like, I'm not like Superman, and then she drops him to his death. Now, you will see people on Wikipedia saying fatally drops. She murders him. She flies him in the air. He is outside, by the way. She flies him out of the building, takes him up, and drops him. She murders him. That is the closest I have actually seen to murder.
Because it was unnecessary. It's not like he was doing anything. It's not like he was in the process of hurting her. She wasn't defending herself.
She murdered him because she didn't like his political beliefs. Yeah. She didn't take him to jail. She just murdered him. Again,
we're cool with that.
He was of no threat to her. Very interesting scene. Very interesting. I see nobody
crying. How dare they?
Yeah. But people say because it's Hawk Girl. Okay, cool. Ultraman is beating the shit out of Superman. He can't beat him, but he breaks Ultraman's fingers. And at this point, I'm thinking, are the people who love this Superman's humanity, was it especially nice for you when this Superman broke the fingers of the mentally challenged man? Because all I'm thinking is, like in Master Blaster, when Mad Max sees that he's like retarded, he's like, oh my gosh, he's a child's mind, I can't do this. And again, in this deeply caring Superman, part of me thought he would try and save Ultraman, right? Because that's what we're supposed to do. This Superman loves him, but he doesn't care about his own clone as much as he cares about the kaiju or anything, or a squirrel, because he just doesn't.
Yeah, because
the plot calls for him not to
care.
And this is where the cope for this film gets insane, because he then, after like not being able to beat him, he calls Crypto. Crypto fucks him up a little bit. Crypto's stronger.
Crypto, and then Crypto starts chomping on the cameras, so that Lex can't call out the things.
Superman takes Ultraman, throws him in front of a bus that's headed towards a black hole, effectively throwing him into a black hole. Superman killed Ultraman. As far as Superman knows, letting Ultraman go to his death by throwing him into that it's like, dude,
It's
this
what they
Superman
set up in the film, by the way.
thinks that going into a black hole kills you. So
Yes.
he threw him into a black hole. How is that met? That's where the joke of Mr. River saying, "Hey, what are you doing just laying around?" He's like, "I'm doing important stuff."
No, he says, "Quit messing around,"
and that's where
because
he's
they
like,
need to shut the black hole, the rift.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm doing important stuff." It's not met with, "Oh my
Is-
God, I just did that. How I feel awful.
There's
Like, what's going to happen to him? Is there any way we can figure out where he went? Did he die?" Like, nope.
there's less emotion on his face killing a clone of himself than there was of the kaiju being killed by somebody else. What the fuck, guys? Like, dude, do they not realize what they had written earlier and the connotations of how that's going to carry through the film?
And that's not even including the
But-
times when he lasers all of the.
I don't even want to get it. Can we just settle on? Don't gloss over this, guys, because the reason that people are explaining this away is because they know it's not a good look. So how are they coping with this? Of course, the immediate thing is like, well, black holes don't mean
it's
that he's
Bizarro.
dead, right?
Yeah.
No. First is that black holes don't mean that he's dead.
Yes.
Because in comics, people go into black holes and they come out and it's whatever. That's fine. Superman doesn't know that. So his actions, the actions he chose, were one that would kill him. Okay. If he's Bizarro, by the way, and Bizarro, we know, has some version of sentience and intelligence, then why does he not care that he's breaking this dude's fingers? Why is he so callous? Why is there no sense of, oh my goodness, is there any weight to the fact that there's a clone of me? No,
Nope.
It just doesn't matter because the plot just doesn't want it to matter. And we just look past it.
Because then you automatically go to the next scene where Superman and Miss Terrific find out where Lex Luthor is so that they can shut down the rift and put in the codes.
Yep. So they shut down the reactors. The black hole stops, but the city's been torn in half. But don't worry. Everybody had been evacuated. Gooch is right, by the way. The entire, that is literally what Hawkgirl says the entire time. That's a great look.
They have an awful scene where she has her mouth like all the way open and they zoom in.
It's not great.
It's bad. It's unflattering. It's real bad.
Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane expose Lex Luthor's lies to the public. So he's lost public image and he's he's ruined. Everybody knows that Lex Luthor's a piece of shit. He starts getting frustrated and throws a little bit of a temper tantrum and cries. Again, fine. He gets really upset.
The crying is
this
gross.
is where Superman gives him the talking to that you've seen.
His big speech, guys. His big speech.
He's like, "You're not human." He goes, "That's where you're wrong, Luthor. I am human. I feel. I have emotions. That's what gives me strength." And it is such a nothing thing. And I get that. I guess some people that will resonate with. All I thought was it was kind of like an eye roll delivery. It's so heavy-handed. It's so desperate to have you feel to try and create this false emotional payoff of him choosing humanity. But guys, he never chose to be human. His dad got canceled. His dad got canceled for being a war criminal. So he had no choice. This isn't a story of somebody who was given two realities and thinks that there's more value in humanity. He chooses not to be a war criminal. So the headline from this is Superman, all good, altruistic Superman, doesn't side with evil, despotic Kryptonian overlords. And that's supposed to elicit oh man, that must have been so hard for him.
And that's what makes me human.
Yeah.
Bro, I was like, I'm not invested at all. You talking about the fact that you're so human because you fail time and time again, because I just watch you get your ass kicked over and over again in every single fight and you can't win without help. And you just because you wake up the next day and try again, put your one foot in front of the other, that makes you human. I'm like,
but by the way, so even if there was potential for the scene, you're like, okay, will they let it land? Will they let you see the effect it has on Lex Luthor? Can Nicholas Hoult, who's a good actor, David Cornsford, I'm told, is this amazing actor, will we get something to let this scene just marinate and let it be a moment that can do something?
Nope.
Fuck no, because Crypto jumps on Lex and mauls him. And by the way, this Crypto thing, everybody's talking about how cute he is. He's a Crypto who Superman can't leave at the Kents because he'll kill the cows. He's just so rough. But like Luthor's fine, should be just mangled. Like his arm should just be ripped off. He's a human who's being torn apart by a superpowered dog, but he's fine.
It turns into Superman having to say, Crypto, no, stop, Crypto.
Yeah, because Crypto doesn't listen. They free everybody from the Pocket Universe. Lex is put into jail. And that's pretty much the end of the action. the ending of the film is Superman back at the Fortress of Solitude. All the robots are fine, by the way.
They got
They've
put back
rebuilt
together.
themselves. Number 4 is sitting here, and he wants to be called Gary from now on. Okay, cool. Like, all right, whatever. Supergirl shows up, drunk mess, blows through the fucking building, and they make a joke about her not knowing where she's like, you moved the front door, and he goes, nope, it's where it always was. You know, she's just a mess. And
Sloppy.
she's like, where's my dog? Because again, comic accurate James Gunn wrote Crypto to not be Superman's dog, but to be Supergirl's dog.
So then she's like, where's my dog? He jumps on her, jumps all over her. She falls on the ground. They're laughing. He's like, this is the problem. She's such a bad owner.
Yeah. Number 4, Gary makes a little offhand remark about, if I cared about people, I would think that she essentially needs an intervention.
Yeah, I would be concerned. Yeah.
I'd be concerned. And she leaves
and
says,
Superman brushes that off.
Mhm.
Doesn't care. And then, and then she leaves as she's walking out. It's like, thanks for watching my dog, bitch.
Yep. The film ends with, again, I think they're going for a circular ending. Number 4 says, do you want to listen to the recording, or do you want to see the recording of your parents? It soothes him. And of course, now it's the memories and the, home videos of the Kents. Did anybody think that it was going to be Jor-El in them again? So again, it was just one of those things that I'm sure that there are some people who are like, oh, that's so sweet, but I don't think people are thinking deeply about it.
And even if it is sweet, they made no connection in the film for you to care.
By the way, oddest point of all of this is your drunken cousin, and people are pointing out the fact that, wait, how is she drunk? Because they talk about that. Oh, she's drunk because she goes to suns with red planet so that she can get drunk, because we can't get drunk on yellow suns. Well, she's under a yellow sun now. She's still drunk. That's inconsequential. The real question is, why is the first thing he says not, hey, I've spent the past couple of days finding out that our Kryptonian, your aunt and uncle, my parents, are war criminals, and that we were sent here to conquer this planet. Did you know about it?
Yeah.
Because it has shaken my entire fucking worldview, guy.
Like, I'm supposed to have a harem?
Hey, cuz, do you have a harem? Because I'm supposed to have a harem. What the fuck is going on? No,
Nope.
None of that matters. The
Just
turning point of the
deuces.
film has so little impact on the film that it's less important than a joke about a bad dog, what makes a bad dog owner, and Superman being called a bitch.
On top of, if you for some reason thought you wanted to wait around for the end credit scenes, the
Complete nothing burgers.
yes, well, no, the last one, the very last one, you get Superman and Mr. Terrific looking at the building and the fact that it didn't line up.
Yeah, they re-put the buildings together.
Yeah, and he's looking at Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific's like, and just so you can have the one liner of Superman saying, "Yeah, I can be an asshole sometimes." What? That's what I waited around for you to say Superman can be an asshole sometimes?
The other end credit scene is Crypto on the moon with Superman after the fact.
Staring down the planet.
Yeah. So that's Superman. Yeah. You guys put any thoughts y'all had? Are we being too hard? I love Superman. At the core of this film, there is a Superman film. I think he's far too hidden behind the Justice Gang, every other side character. I do not think that James Gunn understood Superman at all. Like I said this going into the film, that I think that James Gunn is an odd choice. I don't think he has the sincerity to handle these characters. I don't think he understood the assignment. I don't think he delivered. I say that because every single person who's, they're out of theater was like, James Gunn understood the assignment and he delivered. I don't think he did either of those.
False.
I think that this is what happens when you don't understand a character, as he admitted to, and you use a dog to try and be your way into the character. And the only way you can understand or write about the character is if you fundamentally change the character. You just bastardize everything around so that Superman doesn't have to demonstrate being good. He can say he's good because the people around him are being so shitty. It's a very cynical film, guys. It's not hopeful, except for the fact that he keeps saying hope. I stand for hope. I stand for goodness. And this is a film for people who someone saying something but not necessarily demonstrating it is enough. Like if someone does stuff but just says, I stand for hope, that people are like, but he said he stood for hope.
Yet he does none of those things.
It also made me realize that somebody needs to re-edit Man of Steel, and just every single time you see a building explode, just like CGI or just just
adding
just
context,
just
yeah.
voiceover,
yeah.
a news correspondent saying, thankfully everybody was evacuated from that building.
Just in
Thankfully,
time.
Thankfully, everybody's been evacuated. Just over and over and over. And when he snaps Zod's neck, have somebody show up instead of him, freaking out.
No,
saying,
when Lois walks up.
Yeah, have Lois say,
yeah,
huh, why are you on your knees? And have him be like, hey, I had to knock this guy out, and just have him just say that. Just voice over it. Just
thankfully he's just paralyzed.
And then all the criticism will be gone, right? That and literally put a luma keyer on it, and or just raise the luminosity, just increase the brightness, and
it'll be all good.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, Joker says Superman gets his ass beat the entire time unless he wants help, but we promise James Gunn cares about Superman, guys.
100%.
James Gunn cares.
Yeah. So let's go into where does it stand? So Superman's one of my favorite stories because I think one of my favorite characters because I think because he's so powerful, it allows you to tell stories that you wouldn't intuitively be able to tell if things like limitation. People have always, I see a lot of people saying that Superman should be stupid, that he's silly, he's quirky. First of all, none of the other film adaptations have been that. Even if you go back and watch Christopher Reeves, but I always say that people because like I'm saying his name is I'm saying Christopher Reeves, his possession of Superman.
Yeah.
But Christopher Reeves, Superman, he's not. When he's Superman, he's very confident.
Yes.
He's quite stoic. He makes jokes, but they're quips. He's not the joke. It's him doing his best to be iconic and to be a symbol.
And if he is making a joke, he's being playful.
But he's got so much charisma. He's like the guy who's so handsome, so charming, so confident that he can hit you with the dad joke and give you that stare of, I know it's fucking stupid, but I'm doing it anyways. And you're like, this guy's the coolest fucking dude I've ever seen. That is not the case with this Superman. It's not. It's there's times that David Gordon Sweat maybe gets close to it. And again, I don't think it's his fault. Dude, the lines are the fucking lines, dude.
Welcome, Savax. What's up?
What's up?
And Tess, but real people aren't good. You have to be simple to want to do good by others. It's hilarious and so unrealistic.
Yeah. So
hello, Zod lived. He got medical help and became Doomsday. Have Superman visit Zod at the end and have them play checkers. Chess is taken.
Yeah, just have Lois Lane pop up. He goes, oh my God, is he dead? He goes, no, but when he wakes up, he's not going to be happy. Boom. Absolute cinema. Greatest one. Dude, it's so stupid. Like, again, that's what we're dealing with, people. We are dealing with a level of, I don't even know what the fuck is going on that, I love it though. I love it because this is the internet and this is why we do it, people. Thank you so much, Chairs, for reminding us. Yes.
For the 80 plus viewers watching, hit the like button, people. Please and thank you. It's just I've seen so many people give excuses and be like they like this Superman because he goes out of his way to be like, oh, I'm gonna save these people or I saved the squirrel.
Preface by no problem if you like this film. No problem. But be consistent because I'm seeing a lot of people give a lot of latitude when none was given for Ralph Superman and for Henry Cavill Superman. And I hate that we always only talk about it compared to Man of Steel. Like I haven't had to listen to people tear down Brandon Routh as Superman. And I like Brandon Routh Superman.
Yes.
Like unapologetically, I think he's a good Superman. I think he brings something different to the character. He's pretty similar.
But he also is a great Superman. At no point did I see him look like a simp or a loser.
Yeah. Everything that they said about wanting to see Superman just save people, you got that with Brandon Routh Superman, and people shit on him. So the nitpicking has always been there, except suspiciously. Now we don't want to nitpick. And it's be honest, it's because you're worried that the corporation won't do well. And I'm just not interested in people who are worried about Warner Brothers' bottom line and James Gunn's legacy. If you are, make a better fucking film. Like, it's not on the audience to make excuses because you can't translate your vision to film.
Yeah. Joe said I saw people saying not to be angry about it. It's just a movie. Funny when they were shitting on Man of Steel, it wasn't just a movie. Yeah.
Neither was any of them. Yeah. So let's go through quickly. And you guys can just hit along with put yours because I'll go through them later. It takes a long time for our live chat to catch up, but we're just going to read out the previous DCU film and just say better or worse. I don't want to give. It's just we'll just do that, and it's just our opinion, guys. but it doesn't need just gut impressions, guys. And then I'm probably gonna go through this later and try and find some autistic way to correlate that. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I know I want the data, guys. I know I want it. First one, Man of Steel, better or worse?
Hold on. So we're saying if the name you're
Yeah,
calling
yeah.
out, is it
So
better or worse than this movie?
Is this film better or worse than Man of Steel? So for me, this film is worse than Man of Steel.
Okay, I had to clarify.
Yeah.
This film's worse.
I think this is worse.
Yeah.
I would do a
So,
poll,
Abe,
but we
it's
can't do
impossible to do a poll for this number of films.
because we're gonna go through all of them.
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman. I think it's fucking worse.
Yeah.
I think it's worse. I think that this is a fucking mess. But again, guys, put like BVS, put like MOS, better or worse, BVS, MOS, you know, just so that I can try and correlate. these.
Rockefeller said it's worse than all the films.
Suicide Squad by David Ayer. I did not like Suicide Squad by David Ayer. I thought it was fucking stupid. I think it has a lot of the problems that this film has, and I think this film is worse than fucking David Ayer's Suicide Squad. Just fractionally. Just fucking fractionally. What's so funny?
It's not funny. I don't know. I don't agree with that because I hate that movie.
Okay,
so
then you say better.
I would say this is better.
That's what we're doing here,
yeah.
guys. There's no wrong.
I would say this is better than Suicide Squad.
Okay. Wonder Woman. Fucking worse.
Worse.
Wonder Woman is
Woman's a
such
way
a better
better
film.
film.
I saw unhinged people saying that Hot Girl does better in her 3 scenes than anything that
Absolutely
Gal
fucking
Gadot
not.
did. Are you smoking
Are you
crack? Where can I get some?
Yeah,
Because
like-
I want to be a happy, stupid person on the internet saying crazy unhinged things. Why was I not invited to the crazy unhinged party? You know,
Yeah. So
I'm very
no,
upset.
this is way worse than Wonder Woman.
Way worse. Aquaman. I didn't like Aquaman. I thought Aquaman was kind of fucking stupid.
I would say Aquaman's better than this.
Mm.
Aquaman's better than Superman. Stop it.
It's
The first
it's mildly better because it makes sense as a story. But it got
Yes.
I did not especially like Aquaman.
Yeah.
But Aquaman was better. Shazam, I think it's like a near. I know I like.
No, Shazam
Quality,
is better than this.
yeah, because at least I liked the characters in Shazam because they gave them time. So yeah, Shazam was better. This is worse than Shazam. Birds of Prey, I think it's better than Birds of Prey. I think Birds of Prey
yes.
is fucking atrocious.
Birds of Prey is the worst.
By the way, I think Birds of Prey is the turning point when they killed the DCEU because you're like, what the fuck are you doing? We've already had a Suicide Squad film. Why are you not focusing on the big 3, you idiots? Why are we doing
what are we doing here?
I know Margot Robbie's very hot right now, but why the fuck are we doing a Harley Quinn film? Are you stupid?
Yes. So Superman is better than Birds of Prey.
Yeah, it's better than Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey is a fucking abomination. And again, that's my opinion. I know a lot of people like it, but that's what we do on this channel. We don't hold art.
And you guys might not agree with us, and we perfectly understand that. But yeah, I
Zack
think
Snyder's Justice League,
way
fucking-
better.
Yeah,
A million times better.
This is worse than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
Yeah, because people are gonna think you're saying the other way.
No.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is a million times better than this Superman film.
Black Adam. Black Adam's better.
Yes.
This is worse than Black Adam. This is a mess. This is a tonal mess. Black Adam, I didn't really even like that much, but at least it's not as tonally a mess. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. This is probably marginally better than Shazam! Fury of the Gods, in my opinion.
Yes. This is better than that.
Flash. I cannot fucking believe I'm saying this because I hate
The Flash.
The Flash.
The
I
Flash is
hate
better
the
than
fucking
this.
Flash. I think the Flash is better than this. There's more time given to developing the Flash. Barry Allen, and I don't like Barry Allen.
But
is,
it's at least focused on
Oh.
Barry Allen and his story. And yeah.
I'm saying Flash. Maybe in a couple days when the discourse dies down, maybe we revisit this list.
But
my gut's telling me that this was worse than the Flash. Blue Beetle, I think it's better than Blue Beetle. Just because I like Superman. Blue Beetle is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But by the way, Blue Beetle is one of the first films where they tried to build up this crazy, ridiculous hype. And then Aquaman 2, I think it's better than Aquaman 2. Dude, I can barely make it through Aquaman 2.
Yes.
At least
Superman's better than Aquaman 2.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if
there
we
you go.
actually got any meaningful data from that, guys.
That was kind of rapid fire, and I hope you understood what we were saying. But
yeah. Oh, dude. This is...
And yeah, I chose said Guns fanboys love Blue Beetle for some reason. I don't get it.
Because-
I hate that movie. I don't like that movie.
A lot of gun fanboys are loving shit that if you look at their history of likes and dislikes, you'd be like, no, there's no way they like this. But they love James Gunn so much they're willing to sacrifice their taste, their preferences on the altar of continue a narrative that James Gunn don't miss.
So I think we didn't clarify. So Justice League.
Justice League. I didn't even put the Justice League in here because I don't even really think of it.
I don't
like the Justice League.
and I don't like the Suicide. So I don't like either one. I don't like
Justice
James
League-
Gunn's version. I don't like the whatever his name's first.
David, the
Josh
the
Whedon's.
Suicide Squad. Oh,
Yeah.
did we do the Suicide Squad? I think the Suicide Squad by James Gunn is better than this film. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Yeah.
Dude, the one with the Star Dude and I think that's what I'm saying. This is worse than James Gunn's Justice League. And then as far as
Are you insane? Yeah, no. We're not touching that. That's a
no,
joke.
dude. Like anybody who's
'Cause there's
compared.
no
Then we
debate.
forgot Wonder Woman 1984. Thank you, Emperor Goodwin.
Wonder Woman 1984 is worse. I don't like. I hate that movie.
No,
Although it narratively, like the narrative's better.
Yeah, I would say it's not. It's worse. It's actually worse because in it
The acting's awful too. But the
Like
thing,
you have to
Superman is better than 1984.
Wonder Woman, it becomes like a date rapist. Or
Yeah,
some shit.
just-
like it's weird.
Mind you,
Yeah.
1984, for all the fucking people who for some reason want to flock to our chat to say like the Rotten Tomato scores, Wonder Woman 1984 has a high Rotten Tomato score.
By
It's
the
still
way,
a piece of trash film, by the
did
way.
any of you guys catch that Metacritic, the general audience score for this James Gunn Superman is lower? It's like 7.3 than Man of Steel, which is 7.5. What, dude? It goes to show, like, obviously the check from Warner Brothers did not make it to the Metacritic site.
Bro, Les says, I heard someone say this movie was better than Dark Knight. That's a fucking joke.
100%. That's what we're dealing with, guys. I want to bring up, we've got a couple more minutes before we go into Niet's Film Comics Explained, Sunday Film Comics Explained. We've done the scene breakdown, dude, and I'm about to fucking talk about this on Catch Up Monday.
Yep. I told you we were gonna have time, but no, I think so you're seeing a lot of people try and cover for this film because they don't want to say that specific people weren't good because because they'll be like, well, David Cornsweet is an amazing actor. The chick who plays
Not in this, by the way.
Rachel Brosnahan is an amazing actor. Nicholas Hoult is an amazing actor. So then they're glazing it, being like, well, they're amazing actors, so they did an amazing job. It was perfect casting. It can be a perfect casting and still be a bad film because the script they were given does not allow them to be good in their role.
There are lines in this film, guys, that actually sound like Tommy Wiseau from The Room. Like, I did not kill her. I did not. It is weird. If you watch Resident Alien, there's a lot of fun to be had with Alan Tudyk, whatever his name is. The way he plays an alien trying to sound human. Dude, some of that kind of comes through with just the way people talk in this.
Yeah.
Not as a joke. Just especially with extras. Dude, it is rough. It is really rough. The hard part about this is all the stuff surrounding Superman. I think David Cornsweet seems like a really cool guy. He likes Star Wars. I like Star Wars. And I think that they're relying on you saying like, hey, I like this guy. He likes the things I like. And being afraid to say, God, his Superman is so undercooked. He's never given a chance to develop. And worse than that, the line delivery. And again, I've seen him be more subdued, but most of his acting reminds me of his acting in Twisters, another terrible film, when he says, "Whose side are you on anyway?" to his partner, and it's a bad line. The delivery's fucking trash, but it's iconically funny. It's like memeable, is what I mean. A lot of the lines in this, I think, might become memes, and not in a good way.
Not in a good way. So yeah, I don't understand that. You can say the film's not good and that the acting, sadly, was not their best work because of the script they were given. But it doesn't change the fact that the film's not good.
This is maybe Nicholas Holt's worst portrayal.
This was easily the worst portrayal of Superman I've ever seen.
What's up, Ross? He says, it was fun for me. Felt like I was dropped into DC Saturday morning cartoons. It felt like a tune.
The ending felt like a tune in next week ending. It felt flat because of that.
And again, I have no problem saying it was fun. But dude, I remember watching like Justice League and the animated series. I don't remember Clark Kent being such a fucking rube. I don't remember him being so ridiculous. Dude, there's a scene, go Google it. Like he plays with Lois Lane, and she's like, how do you always get all the scoops? And he's like, because I secretly am Superman and I just pretend to be Clark Kent so I can get ahead of you on the interviews. That this portrayal could never play that because he's so
retarded.
He's
just sad and dumb.
Would you say, and this is something that the media likes to say, would you say that Gordon Sweat's Clark Kent comes off incel-y? Do you think that he gets bitches?
No.
He kind of comes across like an incel.
But the fact that Jimmy Olsen seems like he has more riz than
it does not. You keep saying seem. In this, Jimmy Olsen definitively has so riz. Much riz that he is dripping in bitches.
Yeah. And yet somehow no one's sitting there trying to hook up with Clark Kent.
Thank you so much, Rossi. He says 7 out of 10 for me. Yeah. Glad that people liked it. Yeah. No problem. And I have no problem with people liking it. But what I am going to continue to do is call out consistency of opinion, where people are praising things in this that they absolutely spent a decade complaining about in other things. Oh, what's up, the good Austin? I just saw him somewhere in the chat.
What's up? Yeah. Jimmy Olsen's the Rizzler. Like, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lex Luthor was an incel. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
By the way, this is another big problem with the way Hollywood writes villains. Dude, it is... You want to hit it?
Yeah. Well, damn, just cracked 90+ viewers. You guys hit the like button, please. Before we close the stream, because we will be raiding into Niet's Film Com Explains Saturday.
Did you set
Sunday
it up
thing
yet, by the way?
No.
Yeah. There's a real problem with Hollywood hates the things they hate come through in the actual film. And so I don't think Hollywood can write villains without it becoming a surrogate for whoever they currently think is the most bad man in history right now. I knew this was going to be the case when they started with it's the Superman we need right now. Whenever they say that, that means that they want you, and it is true, dude. Like, I know a lot of people are saying, is it woke? Is it not woke? It's not woke, but it is saturated with the type of political discourse, which is why we never said it was going to be woke. We said it was going to be political, and it is. It's a child's attempt to be political, but again, sadly, a child's attempt at political discourse is about what Hollywood is capable of. And again, you have this recurring problem with Lex Luthor that Hollywood is only able to write super intelligent villains to the limitation of their own intelligence. And so it sounds like he is simultaneously the most dangerous man in the world, but he's also a sloppy hack who's a loser all along. And again, I'm not going to bring up the real world political people, but how many times do you see in the news them say, this man's a fascist, he's the most evil man who's ever lived, he's playing everybody, he's deceived everyone, but he's also an idiot, he's stupid, he's incompetent. You can't be both. You can't be a criminal mastermind and also be the dumbest man in history. And that's the problem. They have to hate at every angle. And even there's a line when you have Lex Luthor and his tech, and Mr. Terrific says, this is like, it's sloppy and it's creating these black holes. And he gives a little offhand remark, goes, it's the typical of the sloppiness of Luthor's tech. I get it, but I think if you had shown more, it just makes it seem like he's not very smart. That Lex Luthor, you're telegraphing that he's not as good as other people. But also, it could have been a moment, instead of it being about the quality of his tech, it's his disregard. And I know that that's kind of hinted at, but it's also, that's a moment that you could characterize. He goes, this is what Luthor does. He makes things and he doesn't care about the ramifications if he gets what he wants. I think but instead it's this dismissive of his tech's trash, It's like,
he's so amazingly smart, but he's also an idiot.
Yeah. He's so manipulative. By the way, before we go into Niet stream, his plan, the more you think about it, the dumber it is. He has to false flag, create a war. He creates this controversy, creates this global conflict so that he can, make Superman look bad, so that he can use the Hammer of Bravia to kill. He needs the go-ahead from the government of the United States or whatever to say, yes, you can kill Superman, or you can bring Superman in. If he's already going to be false flagging this, or he's already going to be sparking a fake conflict, why would he not just have the Hammer of Baravia be just not acting outside. I mean, the Hammer of Baravia clearly has the power to kill Superman. He doesn't need to take him in. Like if the Hammer of Baravia, when he knocked him to the ground, if he had just had Metamorpho there and using the kryptonite, he could have taken. It doesn't need to be done. And then when he's in the Pocket Universe, he's questioning him. Why? And then people say, oh, because the script says that the government wanted him to bring him in alive. Why? They want to test on him. Why? Why does Lex Luthor fucking care? Why doesn't he just continue with his monkeys? And we forgot to mention the monkeys are there, by the way.
Yeah, but they're like a passing glance.
But why doesn't he just continue to have a smear campaign and then at the same time just have the Hammer of Baravia go kill Superman? Like he could have just done it.
Dude, if only he had a clone to set him up.
And that the only reason it feels like, by the way, all the leaks that it's essentially the boys from the comics, yeah, 100% true. You would be like, why doesn't he just have the clone go do terrible stuff? Yeah. But again, that's why you're not supposed to think one layer deeper. If
yeah,
you think
bro
one
already
layer
had Fortress of Solitude. Like, why wouldn't you have him do a million other things?
You do not want to start asking why with this film because it will never end. And you're seeing people who are definitely smart enough to work through this have to tell you, don't think about it too deep. Or changing their entire philosophy on film in order to have this film fit into what they would say is a good film. Likeable, enjoyable, fun, you'll get no argument from me. But the quality of this film, the quality of the storytelling is absurdly poor. And it is the definition of just plot before story and content.
No, yeah, and 100% agree. Yeah, they want it to be relatable to how people think about these bad guys they don't like. Shucks, he's really insecure deep down. That's what motivates him.
Yeah. He's probably a bully, and bullies are just cowards themselves.
Oh okay, God.
Cool. Well, then he's not really that scary, is he?
But no, we didn't give a final rating for the film. Andy doesn't really like.
I don't like
ratings.
It because it won't make sense.
It's a very mid film.
I won't give it. I'm not giving it a fucking 5. I think a 5 should be reserved for you go in, you start at a 5. Something good happens, it goes up. Something bad happens, it goes down. That's how like they do it in like football rankings, soccer, rugby. You start at like a 5, or everybody has a different starting point. Mine is 5. I went in, I was told to have low expectations. It actually fell below. So do with that what you will. It's not a 5 for me. It's below.
I can easily say it's if I had all of the Superman movies, it's easily the least. I would watch every other Superman film before I'd watch this.
This is by far my least
favorite Superman.
Least favorite Superman.
So yeah,
you start at mid, by the way, and there's nothing wrong with a 5. If you go into a film and it's a 5 and it stays a 5, it met your expectations. Okay, it didn't exceed. It didn't. But that's what I'm saying. Like I've heard people start to be like, "Dude, what does mid mean?" And people be like, between a 4 and a 6 should be mid. I think a 3 and below is poor to abhorrent, and I think a 7 to a 10 is good to great. And I think that's how we need to start thinking about it. Like even in that bracket of mid, what is mid? What is like worth seeing in a theater? What is like wait for streaming? Maybe we'll make a scale based on that.
So Chicana says this one's worse than Superman Returns.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Like by a lot.
So much so that I was like, man. And I like Superman Returns, but I've listened to a long time of people bitch about Superman Returns. Went and rewatched Superman Returns. Anything that's heartfelt in this, 100 times more heartfelt in
into Emperor Goodwin, worse than Superman 4, Quest for Peace.
I need to go rewatch those.
But people are saying
those are rough.
So on here, people are saying Quest for Peace was better.
Yeah, I need to go rewatch Quest for Peace. Not willing because I haven't watched it recently to go that far. But gut impression.
And yes, Elijah's saying yes. This elevated Superman 3 and 4 for me.
It definitely elevated 3, even with Richard Pryor. Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, we're gonna call it a close, you guys. We'll go over more of the box office stuff, the weird stuff that's going on the internet, and the blatant lying that's going on.
Because we didn't even get to. Again, it's in my notes here. We're gonna talk about it because something has to be asked when people have built their name on YouTube. And dude, these are people that I watch. Like no one is specific, by the way. Like it's a collective behavior that I'm noticing, but a lot of people substitute analysis for box office success. I don't like that, dude, because, dude, Shawshank Redemption is a great film. It did not make money. Like, that's stupid. Let's not do that.
We see films all the time that don't make money that are really good movies, and
And
films that are awfully, like, straight trash make tons of money.
Minecraft's not a good film, made a lot of money. So I'm not doing this thing where we're now shifting to will it be a success? By the way, they're constantly revising down what is a success. When I see people who know better actively lying and regurgitating lies, I don't know what to make of that. And we're going to work through that too.
Oh, I know what to make of that, but we'll get into that tomorrow. But yes, so we're about to raid over to Nietz because he starts in 10 minutes and we'll actually be on that show as well. And so hopefully we'll see most of you guys over there. Thank you for hanging out with us for the past 2 hours talking about Superman for the third day in a row. I hope it was entertaining for all of you.
It's an hour 50. That's fake news.
Fine.
Katie is giving us
rounded
fake
up.
news.
And then, yes, we have Catch Up Monday tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Time, and we'll talk about box office numbers and a bunch of other things. So, and let me play a clip for all the people who did super chats, super stickers, and memberships.
We'll
Thank
play
you so
several
much.
chats, thank you all for
supporting the channel.
supporting
We
the
appreciate
channel.
you guys. You guys are amazing. We clearly don't make money off the ads and stuff because we completely get demonetized.
Money is tacky.
Yeah,
We're
I'm just
not-
saying, like, thank you. We
I'm just
appreciate
saying,
it.
no matter what, we
Yeah.
appreciate
Everything you guys do. So yeah, we'll see you guys in a little bit.
I broke the law in Madrid, and I'll do it again. I got a bitch in every city that I ever been. I thought the money would do something for the sadness in me, but I'm deeper in the abyss than I have ever been. I got 2 million other tracks that all sound like this. So this flow is for the kids that all miss that shit. But really, I can give a fuck what anybody miss. I'm too chaotic in the music, don't reflect that shit. You think you got it? Oh, you
Let me get it like wow. It's like right now. It's like wow. It's like right now. It's like wow. It's like right now. It's like wow. It's like right now. Oh wow. It's my life, your life.
I ain't paying for this shit.
The fuck you ain't? Now, I need some fresh cash for reshoots. I'm thinking 2 mil.
2 million? Man, Uncle Baby, get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Come on, I ain't asking for the world here. I'm just asking for a 8-ball and $2 million. Long as somebody in this family think about somebody else for once. What would your mama think?
About us not getting you cocaine?
Don't you be sassing me, boy.